Welcome to another episode of the Market Makers in Middle East and Africa podcast. I am your host Abrar Hussain. Today I speak to Firas Al Msaddi, Chief Executive Officer at FAM Group of Companies and DXB Interact. Firas, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
I have seen your success story. I have read about it. It's a very interesting success story. You are a very successful entrepreneur and you had a very good impact on the real estate market in Dubai and across the world. And now you're CEO of FAM, CEO of DXB Track. So tell us a brief about your story.
All right. So today I'm 40 in July. Married for the last 16 years. Have 4 kids. Came to Dubai. Arrived to Dubai from Syria on the 15th of December 2005. I did a year and a half selling clothes in a fashion shop in Dubai. But I think the last 6 months in that fashion shop, I was just doing interviews because I was suffocated by, the walls and the ceiling. I just wanted to do something where I get reward, or the reward is proportionated to the effort I'm willing to put in. I remember my first year, I worked for Armani, one of the well-known fashion brands, and I was top sales in my first year because I was doing 2 shifts. And I remember I was doing 2 shifts. You get pending days, so you can get days off later on. But for me, it was very, very simple. I wanted to learn faster, so I put more hours in. And my last concern was, it wasn't even a concern, whether I'm going to earn more money or not, whether I'm going to get pending days or more days off or not. My sole target was, I'm going to do more so I can learn more. And, it's so simple. The harder you work, the more you learn, and the faster you progress. And that's been my philosophy since I started up until now. Fast forward, I did so many interviews. I did really bad in most of them until I was shortlisted for an interview with insurance company, a broker insurance company and real estate company. But I decided to go with real estate because 2/3 of the world's cranes were in Dubai back then. Wherever you drive, you see all these amazing areas. Coming from Syria, seeing all the skyscrapers, that was like a big inspiration for me. So I decided to go for real estate, but it was only commission. So it was very difficult for me to leave my 5,500 monthly salary and go into an industry that I've never done before and no salary. So I took my vacation, 25 days, I think. I worked in one of the real estate companies. The minute I walked in, I saw, just normal people like me driving amazing cars and having good life. None of them had wings. So I thought if they can do it, I can definitely do it. 25 days. I did few rentals and I was like, that's it. It's for me. I went back, I resigned. And then I did about a year, maybe a year and a half in a real estate company. Then I sold the real estate company that I was in, but I remained the GM of the company. Then I think early 2009, I wanted to get some corporate experience. So I got a job with one of the mega real estate developers in Dubai. But then I was terminated before I even joined because of the real estate recession. I didn't want to go back on my career, so I decided to start FAM. I bought a bankrupted license. I changed the name from Special House to FAM, which is the initials of my name. It was, I think, March 2009. And I thought if there was one real estate transaction that would take place in Dubai, why not me? And also people think that I took so much risk, while now and back then, I never thought that I'm not a big risk taker, believe it or not, because I'd only take a risk that I can afford to take. I can afford its worst case scenario. Now, when I looked at all the skyscrapers in Dubai back then, I was like, even if my job was just to get investors out, to exit investors from the Dubai real estate market, I'll get rich in the process. And then I started, fast forward, it was just me basically. And then I was joined by my brother, Fatih, who's the genius behind all the technology that you see in the company and across all our companies. And the team has grown, and today we stand as the largest real estate company I think ever built or exists in Dubai. We're also the most technologically advanced company in Dubai. We have created many other business verticals. In every business vertical we've created, it is actually a profit center. I don't have any company that hasn't already delivered a track record in Dubai. Our core is real estate, but also we're very client-centric. So every service around the real estate that creates more value to real estate investors is already built within our group of companies. Mm-hmm. So we have FAM Interiors, FAM Living, FAM Outdoor Media, FAM Conveyancing, FAM Snagit, which is an engineering snagging inspection, Nordic by FAM, which is a real estate development company, FAM Real Estate Development Management, and FAM Mortgage Brokerage. Help me out. Oratech, which is a prop tech company that owns DXB Interact, which you just mentioned. I think it's a platform that changed the way every single stakeholder in the real estate market used to operate. Mm-hmm. That's in a nutshell.
Perfect. I mean, thank you for sharing that, Firas. You mentioned that you are one of the largest real estate brokerage firm or the company created in Dubai. How did you manage to scale? I think it is still a very crowded market. It was a crowded market. And how do you differentiate from other competitors or other players in the market?
I mean, I'll tell you why I wanted to scale. First, I don't like small businesses. And I like to do everything at scale, and I like everything to be extreme. So I looked at all real estate companies in Dubai, and I felt that they have no value. Like in the sense of a real estate business that has 10, 20, 50, maybe 100 real estate brokers is probably worth nothing, right? Because once the brokers go away or the leader goes away, the business is almost back to zero. Mm-hmm. And you look at even a shawarma place who's been operating for 5 years, that business has value in its own as a business. So the business becomes a valuable asset. And it hit me that I'm going to spend my life, building a real estate company of no value. And I realized that in order for the business to have value, you need to scale it and you need to take it to an extent that it becomes an asset, right? Combined with the fact that you cannot scale without tech. Like, I love to leverage on resources that we have, and I'm really good at monetizing resources. I don't understand tech so much myself, but I know very well how to monetize tech. And I think one of the best ways to monetize tech is to use technology to scale our business. Today we have, I think, over 700 real estate agents, over 25 or 26 physical office branches or retail branches, starting from Dubai Creek Harbor all the way to Dubai South. I think the second most geographically spread company in Dubai, maybe they have 3 or 4 branches. So we're by far the largest in terms of, the size of the sales force, the size of the company, the size of the business, of course, as well as the geographic spread that we have. And then obviously in a very competitive market, when you do things at scale and you do it by far bigger than everyone else, that in itself becomes a very strong value proposition that differentiates you from other competitors.
Mm-hmm. What about DXB Interact? So how you came up with this initiative and what was the kind of the vision to launch DXB Interact? I mean, I see the value. It has a huge impact, brought a lot of transparency, but why did you came up with this, and what do you see how it changed the landscape in the Dubai real estate?
I think an honest, transparent business is the smartest business you could possibly do, and it's the only business that you can do at scale. And I remember there were 2 companies, doing data and giving data to real estate agents to generate reports. And I remember one of these companies were coming and preaching our agents and saying, okay, if you're dealing with the buyer, choose the highest value transactions or the highest prices and share the report with them to convince them to pay more. If you're dealing with the seller, choose only the lowest price transactions to convince them to sell for lower. And that goes against our value system as a company. I remember Fatih, my brother, was really upset and really like furious why we're even allowing these people to come in and to preach our agents an unethical practice, in my opinion, because you're manipulating the reports. You know, the whole point of data is you show the whole, you know, you show the overall trend, not you don't manipulate and you paint your own picture. And then he decided, not me, to start this. And what you see today is actually a result of a very, very painful journey, because I think we started 7 years back and it was called Property Trends. It was called New Projects. We went through different phases. It was something that literally probably no one believed in, including most of our own agents throughout the journey. And when you tell a real estate agent data will help you selling, they would tell you, but it's going to make my life more difficult, because the client would see there was a transaction done for lower price or higher price or where I saw a massive opportunity, because I'm really good at sales. And I think the most successful salespeople on earth are those who know how to sell the truth, right? If something has a downside of any form, that will have an impact on the price. You should not shy away from it. Yeah. These are the pros and cons, and there's a price for everything. So basically, that's how DXB started. Honestly, we've had to compromise a lot on the short-term game, and maybe lose a lot on the transactional side as a real estate company, because we put so much resources, time, money, effort, expertise into what became later on DXB Interact. November 2022, we managed to sign with the Dubai Land Department an agreement basically to establish DXB Interact. And I think one of the main attributes to the success of the platform is the fact that we have our hands on the pulse of the market. We're not just tech people. You know, we are real estate investors. We're very successful real estate agents. We're very successful real estate investment managers. We're very successful property management team. So we know how to deal with individual investors, home buyers, tenants, as well as with institutional investors. And we know what every stakeholder in the market needs in terms of data in order for them to make a well-informed decision. And that has helped us to really create the right, the right interface, I would say, in terms of what you need to search and how you can go about your search. And yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, you can learn how much any property was sold or rented for in Dubai. It's something we've never heard of before. Mm-hmm. And when real estate brokers know that clients can find out, and it's a public free access, they will count till 10 before, sending out information or hiding certain, holding transactions back or showing certain transactions, the way it was, attempted to teach our agents.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I really see the value of it, and it brought a lot of transparency when people see the transaction before buying or selling.
And by the way, it was for the first time ever, there was the first platform to actually bring leasing information. Mm-hmm. So before, you wouldn't know anything about rentals. It was like an unknown area in Dubai. Now you can learn about the history of, the rental transactions of any freehold property.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about that home buying is still a very emotional decision, and you need a lot of hand-holding, and trust is play a big role. But we also see that technology is helping this process. Or how do you see technology being used as FAM, and how do you see the technology will change the buying and selling process going forward? Or the real estate overall?
We are extremely data-driven company. Whether we're talking about making our internal decisions and strategies, or we're making any recommendations to clients, right? And because we have the best of both worlds, because we understand what happens on the street of the real estate market, as well as we have the data side. We know how to aggregate, analyze, and read data. Tech was the easiest piece for us to create. I think so far, worldwide and especially in Dubai, our business is still very much human relevant. And I don't see when this will change, but I know for a fact that I'll be out of my mind if I think that this will not change. I think it will change, and it might change overnight. There will be a tipping point where, tech will take over the analog ways of conducting real estate business. But so far, it's still human relevant. However, there's a big usage for technology in terms of, like I just said, aggregating data, analyzing data, deriving recommendations to our clients on buying, selling. And it's a lot more than just buying and selling. Obviously, you need to study the supply. We called it DXB, for example. We called it DXB Interact. And Interact because it's interactive, because, the era of just static reports. Dubai real estate market went up by 5% or down by 5%. You're not buying and selling the entire market in Dubai. You're buying or selling or renting a specific property in a specific project in a specific community within the Dubai real estate market. And Interact because now you can go and filter and say, okay, I want to learn how much this particular one-bedroom apartment on this particular floor, this unit number, how much it was sold for, and what happened in terms of price trending, since inception up until today. What happened when the market was down, or what happened when the market was up? How did this property appreciate? Whether we're talking about price or even on the rental side. Mm-hmm. So the last piece of the usage of tech within our industry is actually empowering our own agents and our own employees. I mentioned at the beginning, I said, the only way to scale is to actually use technology. You cannot scale without tech today. And I think the best use case we have of tech is empowering our agents and empowering our team with tech tools that fast track their work, mitigate human errors, and solve problems.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now, Firas, you mentioned about the Dubai real estate market, and we have seen a lot of buzzword, since the inception. How do you see the Dubai market now, and what current trends you see in Dubai real estate?
I mean, the market came a long way. Yes, real estate is a cyclical industry. Real estate in Dubai in particular used to be very cyclical, but I think we came a long, long way. I don't see the same severity of going up and down happening again in Dubai. Unless it happens worldwide, then Dubai is subject to whatever happens to the rest of the world. But I think Dubai has built a very high level of resilience throughout the years. And I think since Expo up until now, or even since COVID up until now, Dubai has built a completely different position at a global scale.
Mm-hmm. And now coming to the customer experience, I think, we were talking that it plays a very big role when you have a very large team, like 700 people, and when they interact, how you cultivate the same kind of culture among your team, and how you cultivate that they also have a very good customer experience when they deal with the home buyers, sellers, and other people.
I think it's extremely challenging, especially when you do things at scale. And it's a never-ending process. But in general, if you want to achieve anything at a company level, you need to embed it in your daily operation. You need to embed it in the company culture. And again, you need to, whatever you want to achieve, you need to think of what resources you need in order for you to achieve that. And I think part of the resource is also training. right? I mean, we have developed a full learning and development department. And today, if I want to do anything in the company, there has to be a piece of training to back it up. So it's an integral part of our OKR system. It's an integral part of our KPIs. It's an integral part of our operations. We follow best practices. We have an NPS score, and it is always a top priority for us across any platform or any context of measuring performance at an individual level or a team level or a company level. Mm-hmm. And obviously a lot of our compensation and benefits are linked with that.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now, we were talking about the resilience of the Dubai market and the way it has been positioned. I think it's attracting a lot of investors, becoming sustainable. Do you see there are some challenges as well, or there are still challenges that can be solved?
I think challenges will never end, right? But one of the best things about Dubai is that over and over and over again, Dubai has not just proven its long-term ability to thrive and to attract long-term foreign investment, but Dubai has proven, number one, very high level of agility to deal with any sort of crisis, or whether at the scale of Dubai or we're talking regionally or even globally. And when they deal with crisis, they're always wired to how can we turn this into an opportunity. They don't deal with crisis as in, okay, there's a problem now, what can we do just to solve the problem? No. How can we actually turn it into an opportunity? And I think COVID was a big tipping point for Dubai, where they saw actually an opportunity, given the size of the city and the structure of the decision making, led by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. They showed a very high level of agility that we could not find anywhere else in the world. And that's why they managed to move a lot faster. And it's not by luck, because they managed to move a lot faster to leverage an infrastructure that they've been building for the last 20, 30 years. Prior to Expo, I remember I used to always say that Expo is not about the Expo. The government is not going to invest billions and billions to make actually money from visitors who are coming within 6 months. It's about building an infrastructure that will pay off forever, not just for the coming 10 years, forever. And I think that's why Expo was a tipping point. COVID was another tipping point, and the Dubai was like underpriced when compared to the quality of life you get here. If you ask me about market cyclicality or Dubai global positioning, or I'll boil everything to quality of life. You don't get this quality of life for what you pay here, maybe anywhere else in the world. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you travel a lot. You've mentioned now in our side discussion before we entered, you don't get this here. I mean, the minute I just hear the tone of Emirates Airlines, I just feel safe. I feel good. I know that I'm going to get good food on the plane. I know I'm going to enjoy my flight, and then I'm going to land to love in Dubai, so.
Yeah, safety and quality of life is amazing. Now, we were talking, Firas, about AI, right? I think it's having an impact on each industry, be it making the, buyers and sellers more efficient, or, having access to the data. How do you see AI at FAM or DXB Interact, and how you're using it, and how do you see it impacting real estate, making agents more efficient, making transaction more efficient, or the contractual process more efficient? How do you see the use of AI?
I mean, in general, what's AI? AI is basically just running like millions of different scenarios to the data you have until you identify the best one for whatever use case you're studying, right? So number one, it heavily depends on the data, the accuracy of the data, and the size of the data. If you don't have enough historical data, there's no way for you to benefit from AI. When we started integrating AI within our ecosystem, we found a lot of data, and we found, I think, a wealth of information to leverage on. And again, it's all about how can we enhance the productivity of our real estate agents. I mean, I remember November last year, we had a mega training day, and that's the time I announced that we're gonna now introduce new AI-based tools on our ERP system. And I told the team, you'll be able to produce a lot more. So what used to take maybe 12 hours to produce, now we can produce it maybe in 5 hours or 4 hours. But that doesn't mean you work for 4 hours or 5 hours. And that's one of the worst things about AI and technology and social media and the availability of information and is that now the competitiveness is still more around who can produce more, which means who can work more, right? And it was around just the availability of the data. Now, because data is available, it's about your ability to monetize the data. So using tech and AI to how we can monetize the data that you have internally or externally.
Yeah. And Firas, as you mentioned that you in the FAM group of companies, you have various parts like covering the full value chain of real estate, buying, selling, mortgage, snagging, another kind of business related to real estate. Where do you see opportunities still in real estate in Dubai? And what advice will you give to some of the entrepreneurs who wants to enter? Do you see still that there are places to grow for people?
I think this will never stop, right? This is how life works. I don't think that there has been any point in time, or there will be any point in time, where there's no room for people to invest and to grow and to achieve their own success. Right? That's how generations work.
I agree. Yeah. And do you see, for example, in some of the markets we have seen a single platform, when it comes to mobile app or a portal where you can do the full value chain in one of the portal or mobile app, right? Whatever you mentioned, from mortgage, you apply, buying and selling, again, you take help from the agents, and then even the, post-sale services, which is maintenance. So there are apps where you can kind of, call a plumber or all those things. And then, even rental and part of it, if you are a landlord or if you are a tenant, you can rent it, through those. Do you see that you, a FAM or any other companies will be able to do this, the full value chain in Dubai? Or do you see a market for it?
I mean, there's not a second real estate company that has all the services in-house under one umbrella, like FAM. However, when it comes to apps and tech, and it's about the problem you're solving, right? Whether by bringing all the services into one app or by focusing on one service, it's all about, does what you do solve a problem, and how big that problem is? Does it really disrupt
the business?
What's currently being done in Dubai? Disrupt means you're solving a very serious problem at a much cheaper cost. So if someone comes up with something like this, like I said, whether it's an app of 10 services or one service, I think there's always a room to do better, right?
Yeah. Do you plan to expand beyond Dubai or beyond UAE? What you're doing here, or the success that you
through
have created?
partners? Yeah.
Through partners. Okay. Perfect.
No, me no.
Okay.
Me going and grind the way I grinded in Dubai for 20 years? No.
Perfect. And what's next for Firas, and what motivates you to still kind of, as you mentioned, you work very hard and, you put a lot of efforts. What motivates you to do more?
When they ask me this, I'm like, I don't understand, why would someone not be motivated by living a happy life? I think the minute you stop progressing and the minute you stop creating value, whether that value is to you directly or to others around you, or you're dead.
Yeah.
That's how people fall into depression. That's how people tell you, oh, I feel lost. I'm not, because they're not progressing, because they're not creating value.
Yeah. And I think it's about loving what you do, right? I mean, if you love that, then it's like, part of your life, and this is how you grow.
But that's also like a bit of a misconception. I mean, if you're doing what you love, is perfect, but not everyone has the option to do only what they love.
Yeah.
And when you don't have the option to do what you love, it means you need to do whatever you need to do in order for you to one day be doing the things that you love to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yes, you will produce more. You will, of course, because you're a lot more motivated now. You're doing something you love.
Yeah.
But I think doing what you love is not the only way to succeed. It's a target. It's an objective that you need to work your way towards.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Firas, pleasure to have you, and pleasure to meet you.
Thank you
very
so
much
much
for coming. It's a
Likewise.
nice discussion.